Hey everyone, this is Kristen Solomon. I'm the director at Blackfish Gallery, and I am excited to introduce you to Nia Musiba, who is the current Fishbowl 2 artist as part of the Without Form and Void curatorship with Christine Miller that we're doing this year. We're continuing this series, and we're really excited to talk to Nia. So Nia, welcome, and please tell us all about yourself and your art practice.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name's Nia Musiba. I'm originally from Denver and moved to Portland in the fall of 2018 to go to Portland State University. So I'm finishing my last year of school right now. I've been studying graphic design. That's where my kind of art background has been. And I started doing art mainly because I was asked to do a mural in the fall of 2019, and things just kind of spiraled from there. I originally didn't think
in Portland.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Where is that?
The first mural I did is on the Rebuilding Center on Mississippi, and it was a collaboration with Pace Taylor, who's another incredible Portland artist. I think it was both of our first murals, so it's really exciting. I didn't think I was gonna be like an artist. I kind of did graphic design because I was like, oh, I'm not really an artist, like I'm not that good. I really like art. It's like not for me. So I thought I would just be like formatting other people's work. And then, I ended up being an artist after all. I started doing murals end of 2019, and then things kind of blew up in a good way. In 2020 and 2021, I was doing a lot of mural work and some other like freelance illustration work. And last summer of 2021, I was like, I just really want to paint. Murals are really great, but they're not super sustainable because you have to think about the weather and like lots of different physical elements like windows and doors. So I knew I wanted to start painting like on canvas, and I wanted to paint kind of big. So I'm transitioning into working with acrylic on canvas, which has been super fun. I'm trying to just do everything. I still do a lot of design. I love publications too. So right now I'm just in a place where I'm like, how can I combine all of the different things that I love and learn about all of the things that I'm interested in learning about?
That's awesome. Yeah, well, what I love about this piece that's in the window at Blackfish right now, month of January, is that it is super large and it really makes a really big impact, I think. So I love the scale of it. And so I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see what we're talking about. And I'd love for you to just tell us more about this piece, what inspired it, and any other details that you want to note about it. So let me share my screen. All right, see that?
Yeah, so this is my painting. If you can see it in person, I would encourage it. But as I said, I was working a lot 2020 and 2021, and it was my first time. I'm 21 years old. It was my first time making my own money, really, like in that way. And there were no rules, it's freelancing. I kind of made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot about what I actually like to do and what I want to do. And I was so burnt out at the beginning of 2021. I was like, I can't even be an artist. Like, I don't know how to do this. This is so much work, and it doesn't make me happy. And I had so many wonderful other art friends in my life that were telling me like, I think you do want to do art. I think you just need to figure out what you can do without like making you hate art, and start doing art for yourself more. So this was a product of that. I think I started it in July of 2021, and I was like, I'm just gonna paint whatever I want. And this is what came out of it. So this is actually part of a series that I'm going to be showing in Portland in the spring. And the series is just kind of a visual diary in a sense. It's a representation of like a lot of the relationships I have. So with self, with others. This one was kind of, I think, a response to like being able to hold myself. I do a lot of work with Black and white figures because I'm half Black, I'm half Tanzanian, and I'm half white. And becoming an adult has meant a lot of exploring that identity and also being okay with that identity and loving and accepting all those parts of myself. So, and there's a lot of anger that comes up when thinking about like my racial identity, especially being in the United States, especially being in Portland, which is like a really white city and has like a really kind of dark past. So a lot of anger there, but also a lot of beauty. So I think that's why I wanted to balance like the figures with this flower that doesn't look super friendly, but it's kind of still wrapping itself around the figures. So yeah, that's the biggest kind of explanation for the piece. And then another thing that like this whole series has been for me is just like one big exploration. So I've been playing around with a lot of textures. I'm a graphic design major, but I've never had any like art classes before. So it's been fun to just like play with paint and yeah, just seeing what textures I can produce, because you can't really do that with a mural. Like it's kind of all just whatever the texture of the wall you're working on is. So it's been really fun.
I think, and hopefully that comes through a little bit in this photo. I can see some of that texture, but really in person, you can really see all the textures that are within the flower and the vine and the and and then the white and the blacks. They're just like different textures, and it really like just adds a whole different element to the painting. Overall, I think the composition is amazing, and I love how it just draws your eye, like that flower and the vine of it kind of just draws your eye all around the piece. It's and just the tension and the twisting between the two figures too is really, I just really stunning. I think graphically, just those with simple colors, but it just says so much. I really love this piece. I really,
Thank
really do.
you.
So many people that just like stop and stare at it in the window and then come into the gallery and are just like, that piece in the window, like, can you tell me more about it? Like, tell us about the artist. Really, just literally like just stopping people in their tracks on the sidewalk, which is amazing.
Thank you. I think like in a way, even though I didn't think I could be an artist for a long time, which, that was rooted in a lot of like, there was a lack of representation of like female artists, of Black artists, of people doing the kind of work that I could identify with. I think a lot of us grow up with the idea of an artist as being like someone who paints portraits. And I was like, I'm never going to do that. But once I felt like I could step into that identity, I was already a few years into design school. And I think that's a fun thing that I like to see the impact of my design education on my paintings. I think I really think a lot about like composition and like how colors are going to work together from a design standpoint, which I'm not super familiar how much overlap there is between like art and design education. But I don't know, I just think it's a fun part of me that I just really see the design in my work, and I think that's maybe part of why it can be so like striking at times.
It's so true. I think that that's spot on, that. And I think so much of the world, and I think back to being in my 20s, is just like learning what is even out there, because there's so many things when you're younger where you just hear about the same like stereotypical, like, I don't know, 10 jobs or things that you think that are in the world. And as you really get into the world and start working and exploring and meeting people, you just realize that there's just so many possibilities and so many options. And even if you don't necessarily see yourself in other people's work, it's great to hear you saying like gaining your own confidence and finding your own voice and realizing that I don't have to look like that to be an artist or to really, and as a matter of fact, it's even better, right? Because you're finding your own voice and your own path and your own style, and that's really where the innovation comes, and that's what makes it interesting, is that something that we haven't seen before because you're someone that we haven't seen before. And so I think that's always the exciting part. I think for me, working with, I'm coach artists too in my other life outside the gallery, and that's the best thing, is kind of like opening people up in that sense of getting over their preconceived notions of what art is or what good art is, and just being able to play and discover. And I think almost, not having the training per se in painting, helps you kind of keep loose and explore and kind of just stay curious. And I think curiosity is one thing that's a huge part of creativity. So, and that really shows in your work. I think that really shines through a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I fully agree. And I think like, yeah, so much, there's like a period of my life where I wasn't using like art as a form of play. Like, everyone, well, maybe not everyone, most of us were little artists as kids. And like, I think that's when I fell in love with art from a viewer standpoint. Like, I always liked art growing up, and I think a lot of us do as kids, and then we get insecure and we don't feel like we can be an artist or whatever. And so definitely something in my work too is like, I hope people see it and admire it. That's great. That makes me feel great. But also see it and maybe go like, oh, maybe I could do something like that. Like, that's kind of art that maybe I could do, because technically it's not that crazy, maybe it wouldn't take me like 3 years to learn how to do this kind of art or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I always love it when people tell me that my work feels like playful, because that's something that it's play for me, so.
Yeah, that's great. So tell us, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen unless you have anything else you want to add about the piece. Anything else you want to say? Okay.
No.
Yeah, what I'd love to know then is what's next for you, Nia. Where can we, you were talking about this series and showing it, like tell us about the show that's coming up and any other things that are on the horizon for you or you aspire to do.
Yeah, so I'm graduating at the end of this year, and I will be looking for art and design opportunities. So if people are interested in hiring me, they can reach out. I would love to talk to them. I'm working on a print show right now that's going to go up at the end of January at Never Coffee on Belmont in Portland. So I'm doing a limited run of about, there's 8 or 9 designs, and I think I'm going to do 30 risograph prints of each. So you can grab one of those. It'll be up for February and a little bit of March. And then I'm working on a series of paintings that's all, came from the painting that I just shared with everyone. And still working out the details of when exactly and where. But I think the best way to keep in contact with me is through email or Instagram. And my Instagram is just my name. It's at Nia Musiba. Yeah, I'm just excited for the future. I'm going to have a show also in April at Littman and White Galleries, which is at PSU. It's on campus at Portland State. That's what's on deck. And then, yeah, graduating. So those are the big things.
Those are big. That's awesome. And we're super happy for you. So congratulations in advance. I know that you've been working hard, so that's exciting. So yeah, so everybody, go on to Instagram and follow Nia. Keep in touch with her so you can see her next show and see the rest of the series of this stunning work that she's created. And come by if you get a chance before the end of the month and see this piece in the window.
Thank you.